Hey guys, so I know that I haven't posted a video in a while, but I just got here 6 days ago and it's so far really awesome. If you're wondering, I'm going to be filming like 3 videos in a row, so that's probably why for 3 videos in a row I'll be wearing the same outfit, but in this video I'm going to talk about check-in day and how my experience went and what my tips are for like what I learned. So check-in day, I arrived pretty early in the morning, but not as early as some people. Like, check-in was supposed to start at 8, but it started at 7. Like, they actually ended up moving everybody over to the buildings and starting the check-in process at 7. So that's good. Expect it to start earlier, because the people just start lining up earlier. I know a bunch of people that got there at 3, a bunch of guys. They're like now my roommate's really closest friends here. They got there at 3. And we were in line right behind them, or my potential roommates were. So they got there at 5. The guys got there at 3, my potential roommates got there at 5. They move you over after a while. I don't know how long we were standing there, but it didn't seem like long at all because we were just talking and having a really great time. So when you get there, they give you a bunch of stuff. Like, for instance, this is the program guide, and it's super useful. Like, it has all the addresses of all the places and buildings. Like all the apartment buildings. It has in the back a little planner so you can write out whatever you're doing. They have it like medical care information, just information about everything you could possibly need to know. So they give you that, and you get your picture ID that day. So be prepared. You have to be under the Disney look guidelines as far as like your face and your hair. So that means if you have big earrings on, if you're a girl, you have to take them out. Luckily I had just like my little studs in that I always have. If you have, I didn't notice anybody that actually had a problem, but if your makeup doesn't look blended or if it's too outrageous, they'll probably make you do something about that. So you get your ID for your housing that day. Now, the other thing to remember is that really the houses go so fast. Like, my group of 6 got split because there was not any Patterson or Chatham groups or rooms open for that. So we ended up being just me and my roommate Mari in this 1-bedroom apartment in Chatham. And then the other girls also went off in different directions. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't expect to get exactly what you want, because it was going to be, if we wanted to be all together as 6, it would have been at Vista Way. And then I wouldn't have been able to see all my Patterson friends as easily. That's another thing to know. Patterson and Chatham are right next door to each other, and Vista is way far away. And then the Commons is just a little bit away. The Commons is where international program students go. There are some international students in here, like in Chatham and Patterson and Vista, but Commons is only for international, so. Okay, so we checked in. They just told us all this stuff. We had to turn in all our paperwork for working and for housing and stuff like that. We had to sign a bunch of stuff. So that's another thing to know. You will need a driver's license or passport and your social security card or a birth certificate, stuff like that. But when you get into the program, they send you papers so you know like what all you need, but don't forget that stuff or else you're totally out of luck, you know? So they do end up taking your fingerprints and stuff like that. That's so that they can have it like on record, because then when you go into the parks, you give them your ticket that they'll give you, and that's another story, that's later, but then you have to give your fingerprint so they can tell that you belong to that card that you scanned. So, not just for a criminal background check, also for identification. Expect to be there for a good 4 hours, just waiting in line, going through everything, but I promise everybody's really nice. Like, if you have any questions at all, just ask. And like, I'm a shy person, typically, where I used to be, but coming here has made me so much more confident because you can literally ask anybody anything, and they will, if they don't know the answer, they'll direct you to somebody who does, or just politely say they don't know, and if they do know the answer, they'll give you all the information you need, like, honestly. So that's been really good here. Check-in. So then you go over to casting, and well, that's when you do all the paperwork and stuff. And then they take you from there back to the apartment Vista Way, like to that complex. And from there you have to either take a bus with all your things to your new apartment, or if you're in Vista Way, then you just are already there. Me and my roommate ended up using my mom's rental car to get back over here, which was a lot easier because we had a lot of stuff, you know? Not that much, but you know, a lot more than would have been comfortable on a bus. The bus systems here are really, really valuable. Like, that's a resource that I will never not appreciate. It's just so nice. And they give you a transportation schedule on, I think, your first day, and that's something to keep. And it's awesome. It's just so useful. So keep that. You don't even have to memorize it as long as you have it and keep things in mind. The thing is, though, it's like you'll be able to find a bus to where you want to go pretty much every half hour. But if you miss the bus, then you probably will be late if you didn't plan ahead enough. Like the other day, I got to my job at 7:55 and I had to be there at 8. So I guess that's all for check-in. Here's my tips. Make sure you have food with you so that during check-in you don't get hungry. Food and water. I took a bunch of granola bars. I didn't have any water, but they ended up giving us, they had like water stations where you could get a little bit of water. Also have your ID, your photo ID or passport, and your social security number and card handy, like very handy, because they ask for it so many different times. Also have your onboarding paper with you. Don't leave that in your luggage or anything. Another thing I recommend is having friends before you leave, because then you'll have a spot saved if you need it, and you'll have people to talk to, and the whole process just goes a lot quicker. Also, if you're a person that's prone to getting backaches or headaches from standing or foot aches, bring Tylenol. Just bring some with you. Like, I brought some and it was really useful, and it made the whole thing easier, you know, because I didn't have to worry like, oh man, I have a headache. So that was good. And to check-in, you don't need to bring, in fact, I recommend that you don't bring your suitcases, because you have to end up getting out of line and putting them in a separate room so that they don't get stolen, and then when you come back, your spot in line might be gone. A lot of people had their suitcases, and it's not like they got mad at us or anything, but they did, I mean, it was just a hassle for us, you know. So I helped some people who had a lot of suitcases move them into their rooms. I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about check-in, other than the fact that it went smoothly, a lot smoother than I thought it would, and I think that if you listen to those tips that I gave you, it'll also make it smoother for you. Anyway, thanks guys, bye. Not like...
Taking a vlog. We're vlogging each other.
Oh, I think it's out of focus.